under 23s, you won every race in
Yeah,
2018, was
at
it?
the time they had an under 21 category, this
Under
random
21,
class
sorry.
in enduro. Yeah. So I
Okay.
won all of those.
Won all them.
Yeah.
Won them all. Yeah, we'll move on. I've won them all. And did that obviously help bring sponsors to you? And then you've put together a bit of a deck. You've got proper support. So what about your first year Elite? Like what was that like?
It was a big step up moving from under 21 to Elite. Like you can kind of compare your times, when you're in two different categories, but it's not till you're actually racing, you're like, oh no, I've got quite a lot to work on here.
Okay.
So my first couple of races in Elite were in Tasmania and New Zealand. So again, like super like fun trips. I was still just traveling with friends at this point, not on like a team or anything. And I didn't get absolutely smoked, but I was like 11th, 12th, like a good way down the kind of results sheet. And I finished and I was like, oh, well, that was fun, but quite a way back there. And it was actually Sven Martin, the photographer, walked up to me after, I can't remember which one it was, but after those first couple of races and was like, Ella, what are you doing? Like, let off your brakes. He was like, you're riding so safe compared to everyone else. And I don't know what had changed from that first year, like pushing, crashing, but he was like, just let it go, just get a bit looser, And I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't really know how to do that. But at the next race in Madeira, like I really took that comment, and I was like, okay. The next race in Madeira, I was like, okay, just let off your brakes. And then I was on the podium and I was like, okay, cool, thank you, Sven. It's like, it was wild because it was such like a small comment. He probably wouldn't even remember, He was just like, you're not pushing enough, like, go for it. And then I went for it and I was like, oh, okay, cool, we're back. Like, that's like, yeah. And I remember that race as the first time that like, I'd had a really solid enduro race and I was like, okay, that's how it should feel. I wasn't like pushing, crashing, reckless, and I wasn't just like riding like super slow and safe. I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm riding well. Yeah.
What does it feel like? What is that thing?
It's cool. Like, I just remember carrying so much speed, like I was just like looking around all the corners, like letting off the brakes properly. Like it was a really dry race. It was super dusty. So I kind of felt like I was just floating over all the dust. It was, a sick feeling.
So at that point, you're just figuring the sport out in a way, even though you've already done a few years in the elite level, you're just figuring out like, what does it take to be
I think
podium
so.
contender?
I think that was it. Like it was really only like my second year of racing enduro, if you look at it.
Yeah.
It's like, and there were 8 EWS a year, so I hadn't actually done that many enduro races yet. So I was just kind of figuring it out by doing. And by like, speaking to other riders, people like Sven being like, get your shit together. Like, yeah.
What does figuring it out look like? Like, how's your mind, like, what happens now when you drop into a race? Because I'm always really interested in this. And in a downhill race, you can imagine it's just got to be as fast as physically possible, nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
But in enduro race, there's a little bit more tactics, right?
There can't be. I guess I did spend a few years, even after that, getting super caught up in my head, like super like either scared of crashing, like thinking about it a bit too much, and worked with a psychologist for a while. And I've got to this point in my racing now where it feels like I can really like focus on the trail in front of me and read the trail, So like, I guess we don't know where we're going to the same extent as the downhill races. So you've got to read the trail. Like often we've not just done them when we race. So like you might have practiced a day or two before, like it's rained, or like sometimes in a full open race, like the amateurs go through between our practice and race. So there are more holes. There are like tapes blown out. I don't know. So you've got to be eyes up and reading the trail. So like I feel I've got to this point that in the stages now I'm so focused on like reading the trail. I'm almost like speaking to myself in my head, like keeping my eyes up, like thinking about breaking points, like pumping, like. So I feel like that's what goes through my head now, and it feels like a healthy point in my racing. Like I'm not thinking about crashing. I've got all of those thoughts out of my head, basically. Yeah.
We had this same conversation yesterday, obviously, with Iago.
Yeah.
About practice and how helpful that is. And I think it is. It seems to be different for every rider. Like some people will ride probably better blind or whatever. So for you, like, what's the benefit of a practice run? That sounds a bit silly, but like, do you retain a lot of information? Does it still feel blind? Like,
I don't manage to remember the whole trail.
Right.
You know, like there are some riders who will finish the trail, watch their GoPro, and they can like think through it all after one run. Like I don't think I'm ever going to get to that point. For me, practice is really useful to see that there's not anything that you're going to die on. You know, like if I can think about the trail and be like, it's all good, then I know I just need to keep my eyes up and like ride as fast as I can. You know, like I'm not going to come around the corner and there's something insane. Yeah. So I kind of have that memory. I guess I try and remember a few specific lines. So if there's like place on the track where you know like I need to be here, I'll memorize like what's coming up before that, so that I know I'm getting to that point.
Yes.
And maybe I'll try and memorize like super blown out corners or places that might be like holes or something, you know, come race day. But yeah, it still feels kind of blind. Like yeah, you're riding down the trail like, oh yeah, I remember this section, but like I still don't remember exactly where I'm
meant to
going.
be.
Yeah, which is fine. And
yeah. We've had various people on the show obviously over the years, and Joe Barnes really sticks out to me still, of like he can photographic memory pretty much every track and just be like, yeah, I just know exactly where to be.
Yeah, no, that's insane.
Bit of a cheat code, I feel like, and there was a few other examples yesterday of people that say they've got photographic memory and can just remember the whole thing. Was it Martin Mays? I can't remember someone.
Some of the riders like Martin for a few years didn't even watch GoPros, didn't even bother recording, rode down and then raced, you know, and he'd win races not having watched back the track, anything. Like, to me that's crazy. And I think for a while I tried to remember the whole track, but it almost made me hesitate more. And like while I was riding, I was like trying to remember like, oh, is this section coming up? You know, like,
oh, it's not that big.
Like I couldn't remember it and I was trying, and I don't think it really helped, so I just have let that go. Yeah.
How do you deal with messing up a line on a track? Because I think in enduro on a long day like that, you can mess up, and you will over 8 stages or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you approach, like, let's say the front goes over a turn, you dab and pedal off. What's going through your mind?
Oh, I don't think it affects me too much if I mess up a line. You know, like, it happens a lot, if I'm honest. Like, yeah, it's so unpredictable, and you're like pushing faster than you were in practice, so like you're hitting things for that speed for the first time kind of thing. Yeah. So things go wrong. And yeah, I think I've got over that kind of thing. As long as I don't crash, it doesn't really bother me. I'm like, oh yeah, sweet, we're carrying on. When you crash, there's a moment of like franticness, you know, like of getting back on, like trying to go, and like, yeah, that's, for me, that's harder to deal with, like trying to ride properly still after you crash, like not trying to make up time, you know, because then you crash again. But
I always find it super impressive when you watch like the any of the footage from EDR and you see someone go off course, let's say, or maybe they put a knee down or whatever. If I do that, I'm just like, I'm so weak-minded that I'm like, this is pointless. You need to go home, just cruise the rest of the track. Who cares? Didn't want to win it anyway. No way. Yeah, and when I watch people put a knee down, get back up, sprint off, I just think, whoa, that is so impressive. Yeah,
I think I'm the opposite. It's still not ideal, but like I crash and I'm like, I need to go, I need to get back on, like I need to make up time, you know, which doesn't help. But
making up time is a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is, because then you crash again and you're like, oh, now I really need to make up time. Yeah, no, I had a nightmare this year in Leo Gang. Like it was super wet, and we practiced in the dry and then raced in the wet. It's like everything had changed quite a bit, so many routes, and I think it was the 4th stage I crashed like 4 times. Like it was just again. My brakes were like wild angles, like, and every time I was like, I need to get back on and make up time, and it just got worse and worse. So yeah, it doesn't work.
No.
Okay. Hey man, what an episode that was. You did amazing in it.
And so did you.
You shone like a star.
You shone like a moon.
Can we also put something up here that you can click on for the next episode?
How about we put a subscribe up there in the middle?
Yeah,
we're going to put a video we think that our lovely companionship will love on your face.
On my face?
Yeah.
And so on can't see me now?
Gone. And on my face, another video that we think people will love. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hit like and subscribe. You guys are the best.
Peace and love.